Captain Hyun-soo stared at the massive asteroid floating in the darkness of space. It was 3 times larger than any rock his mining crew had worked on before. The surface looked normal enough with its gray and brown colors mixed together like old paint. But something felt different about this one. His mining ship Bright Star moved slowly toward the asteroid. The crew was getting ready for another normal day of work. They would drill into the rock and pull out valuable metals. Then they would sell those metals to the big companies back on Earth. It was not exciting work, but it paid well. So Young was checking her drilling equipment when the deep scanner made a strange noise. She had been working on mining ships for 10 years. She knew every sound the machines could make. This sound was new. "Captain," So Young called out, "the deep scanner is showing something weird." Hyun-soo walked over to look at her screen. The scanner sent sound waves deep into asteroids to find metals. Usually it showed simple patterns of rock and ore, but this screen showed something impossible. There were straight lines inside the asteroid, perfect circles, geometric shapes that nature could never make. These were not natural rock formations. "Run the scan again," Hyun-soo said. So Young pressed the buttons and waited. The same patterns appeared on the screen. Deep inside the asteroid there were artificial structures. Someone or something had built them. Tae-ho came over to see what was happening. He was the communications expert on the ship. He looked at the scanner results and shook his head. "This has to be a mistake," Tae-ho said. "There is nothing out here. We are at the edge of known space. No one has ever found alien structures before." But Hyun-soo knew the scanners were working correctly. He had seen enough mining operations to trust his equipment. The structures were real. Mining companies had strict rules. If crews found anything unusual, they were supposed to report it immediately. Then corporate teams would come and take over. The mining crew would lose their claim and get no bonus pay. Hyun-soo thought about his crew. They had been working together for 3 years. They trusted each other. They needed the money from this asteroid to pay for their families back home. "We investigate first," Hyun-soo decided, "before we call corporate." So Young smiled. She liked working for a captain who took care of his crew. "The structures are about 2 kilometers down. I can drill an access tunnel." The drilling took 6 hours. So Young was the best driller in the outer colonies. Her machines cut through solid rock like it was soft clay. She created a tunnel wide enough for people to walk through. The tunnel went straight down into darkness. Emergency lights marked the path every 50 meters. The artificial gravity generators kept everyone walking normally instead of floating. Hyun-soo led the exploration team. So Young came with her engineering tools. Tae-ho brought communication equipment. 3 other crew members carried lights and supplies. They walked down the tunnel for almost an hour. The walls changed from natural rock to something smoother. The surface became more like metal than stone. Strange symbols appeared carved into the walls. "These symbols look very old," So Young said. She ran her fingers over the carved lines, but the metal still looked strong. The tunnel opened into a vast chamber. Their lights could not reach the far walls. The ceiling disappeared into darkness above them. This space was huge. But what made everyone stop breathing was what stood in the center of the chamber. It was a giant figure that looked almost like a woman, 50 meters tall from foot to head. The body had curves and shapes that seemed feminine, but it was clearly made of metal and other materials. The figure was covered in something that looked like rust but sparkled in their lights. Red and orange crystals grew all over the surface like flowers made of metal. The crystals were beautiful but also somehow sad. "Is it a statue?" one crew member whispered. Tae-ho was checking his equipment. "I am getting electromagnetic readings, very weak but steady. Something inside is still active." So Young walked closer to the giant figure. She could see that the crystalline rust was not just on the surface. It went deep into the metal body. Like the figure was slowly turning into crystal from the inside out. "Look at the face," So Young said. The face was peaceful, eyes closed like the figure was sleeping. The features were alien, but somehow familiar, beautiful in a way that made humans feel protective. Hyun-soo walked around the base of the figure. More symbols covered the floor around the feet. Some symbols glowed with a very faint light. Tai-ho, Hyun-soo called. Can you record these electromagnetic signals? Tai-ho set up his equipment. The signals were very weak, but they had a pattern, like a heartbeat that was slowing down. The signals are getting weaker, Tai-ho reported. Whatever is generating them is running out of power. So Young found access panels near the figure's feet. The panels were sealed, but she could see connections inside. Cables and conduits that looked like veins and arteries. This is not a statue, So Young said quietly. This is a being, a living being. The crew stood in silence, looking up at the giant figure. Somewhere in the galaxy there had been people tall enough to build this chamber, smart enough to create technology that still worked after who knows how many years. And this one was dying. The crystalline rust was beautiful, but it was also clearly a sign of decay. The figure was slowly breaking down. The electromagnetic heartbeat was getting weaker. We have to help, Hyun-soo said. Help how? Tai-ho asked. We do not know anything about this technology. We do not even know what this being is. But we know it is alive, So Young said, and it is dying alone. Hyun-soo looked up at the peaceful face high above them. Somewhere in that metal and crystal body was a mind, a consciousness that had been waiting in this dark chamber for countless years. We call for help, Hyun-soo decided, but we do not leave. We stay here until help arrives. The discovery would change everything for humanity. But at that moment, Hyun-soo only cared about one thing. They had found someone who needed help, and humans never abandoned those who needed help, even if those who needed help were 50 meters tall and made of alien metal. Dr. Miran arrived on the fastest ship the university could send. She was the best xenoarchaeologist in human space. When Captain Hyun-soo sent his message about finding alien structures, the university knew they needed their top expert. Miran brought a team of 20 scientists with her. They set up a research station around the asteroid. The station looked like a metal flower with arms reaching toward the rock surface. For 3 days, Miran studied the symbols carved around the giant figure. She used advanced computers to analyze every line and curve. The translation software worked slowly, but it was making progress. The symbols are definitely a language, Miran told the assembled crew. A very complex language, much more advanced than any human writing system. So Young had been working near the figure's feet. She found more access panels and connection points. Everything looked like it was designed to be repaired or maintained. This being was meant to be cared for, So Young reported. There are maintenance systems throughout the body. Whoever built this expected it to need regular attention. Tai-ho continued monitoring the electromagnetic signals. They were getting weaker each day. The pattern was like a heart that was slowly giving up. The signals are failing faster now, Tai-ho said with worry in his voice. Maybe our presence is affecting the system somehow. But Miran had made a breakthrough with the translations. The computer had finally decoded enough symbols to understand the basic meaning. The being has a name, Miran announced to everyone. It translates roughly to Guardian of the Dawn Stars. But the name is very long and complex. We should choose something simpler. Hyun-soo looked up at the peaceful face high above them. She looks feminine. The body shape and facial features suggest a female of her species. What about Echa? It means loving daughter. The crew agreed. From that moment, the giant figure became Echa to all of them. Miran worked day and night to translate more symbols. She discovered that Echa's people were called the Builders. They had created the hyperspace lanes that humans use to travel between stars. The Builders were the first spacefaring civilization in this part of the galaxy, Miran explained to the crew. They built the infrastructure that makes our civilization possible. The hyperspace beacons, the navigation networks, even some of the materials we use in our ships. But the Builders were gone. The symbols told a story of disaster and destruction. Something had happened 2,000 years ago that wiped out their entire civilization. Echa was caught in some kind of temporal stasis field, Miran continued. She was supposed to sleep until her people came back for her, but they never did because they all died. So Young felt sick hearing this story. You mean she has been waiting here alone for 2,000 years? Waiting for people who are never coming? The stasis field is failing, Miran said sadly. That is why the crystalline formations are spreading over her body. Her systems are trying to preserve themselves, but they are running out of power. Tejo checked his readings again. At the current rate of decay, she has maybe 2 weeks before complete system failure. The crew stood in silence looking up at HFY. She looked so peaceful sleeping there, but inside her metal body systems were shutting down one by one. She was dying alone just like her entire species had died. There has to be something we can do, Hyunsu said. Miran shook her head. Our technology is not compatible with theirs. The builders were thousands of years more advanced than us. We do not understand how their systems work. But So Young had an idea. What if we do not try to fix her systems? What if we try to communicate with her instead? Communicate how? Miran asked. The electromagnetic signals, So Young explained. They have patterns like brainwaves. Maybe we can find a way to send signals back. Tejo thought about this. It would be dangerous. We do not know how her mind works. Trying to make contact could damage her consciousness. Or it could give her hope, Hyunsu said. She has been alone for 2,000 years. Maybe knowing that someone found her would give her the strength to keep fighting. The team worked for 2 days to modify their communication equipment. They studied HFY's electromagnetic patterns and learned to copy the frequency and rhythm. Finally, they were ready to try. Tejo sent a simple signal toward HFY's head, just a basic pattern that meant we are here in mathematical terms. For a moment, nothing happened. Then HFY's signals changed. The steady heartbeat pattern became faster and more complex. New frequencies appeared that they had never detected before. She heard us, Tejo whispered in amazement. She is responding. The signals became stronger. HFY's electromagnetic field expanded outward like she was reaching toward them. The crystalline formations on her body began to glow with soft blue light. The stasis systems are activating, So Young reported excitedly. Her power levels are increasing. Miran watched her translation computers work on the new signal patterns. She is trying to communicate back. The signals have linguistic structure. For the first time in 2,000 years, HFY knew she was not alone. Someone had found her. Someone was trying to talk to her. The small beings walking around her feet cared enough to reach out across the void between species. The blue glow spread across her body as ancient systems came back online. Her electromagnetic heartbeat grew stronger and steadier. She was fighting the decay with new determination. We did it, Hyunsu said with wonder. We made contact with an alien mind. But this was only the beginning. HFY was still dying. Communication was not enough to save her. They needed to find a way to heal. Damage that was 2,000 years in the making. The real work was just starting. Chief Engineer Dongmin arrived on the research station 5 days after first contact. He was famous throughout human space for solving impossible technical problems. If anyone could figure out how to help HFY, it would be him. Dongmin studied the electromagnetic patterns for hours. He compared them to human brain waves and found something surprising. The basic neural architecture is similar to ours, Dongmin explained to the team. Different in complexity and power, but the fundamental patterns match human consciousness. Dr. Miran was excited by this discovery. That means communication might be possible at a deeper level, not just simple signals but actual thought transfer. It also means it would be extremely dangerous, Dongmin warned. Connecting human and alien neural patterns could damage both minds permanently. But HFY was getting weaker despite their communication efforts. The blue glow that had appeared when they first made contact was fading again. Her electromagnetic heartbeat was becoming irregular. She is trying to respond to us, but the effort is using up her remaining energy, Tejo reported sadly. Every time she sends signals, she gets a little weaker. So Young found access panels near HFY's head that looked like neural interface ports. They were clearly designed for direct mental connection, but they were built for builder physiology. Can modify these ports for human use. So Young said. But the person who connects will be taking a huge risk. Hyun-soo immediately volunteered. I am the captain. It is my responsibility. No, Dongmin said firmly. I have the most experience with neural interface technology, and if something goes wrong, the crew needs their captain. Despite everyone's protests, Dongmin insisted on making the connection himself. So Young worked for 2 days to modify the interface ports. The equipment had to bridge the gap between human and builder neural patterns. Finally, everything was ready. Dongmin put on the modified neural interface helmet. Cables connected him directly to HFY's consciousness centers. Remember, Doctor, Miran said, if you feel any danger at all, disconnect immediately. We cannot afford to lose you. Dongmin activated the connection. Pain exploded through his mind like lightning. HFY's consciousness was vast and ancient and completely alien. For a moment, Dongmin thought his sanity would shatter from the contact. Then suddenly the pain stopped. He found himself floating in a space of warm blue light. HFY was there, with him but not in her giant physical form. Here in the realm of pure thought, she appeared as a being of light and energy. Little one, HFY spoke directly into his mind. Her voice was like music played on instruments that did not exist. You came back. I thought perhaps I had dreamed you. We are real, Dongmin replied. We found you sleeping and we want to help. HFY's joy was overwhelming. For the first time in 2 millennia, she was not alone. Someone cared about her fate. I have been so tired, she admitted. So tired of waiting. So tired of fighting the decay. I was ready to let go and join my people in the great silence. Through the neural link, Dongmin experienced HFY's memories. He saw the golden age of the builders when they spread life and knowledge throughout the galaxy. He felt their pride in creating the hyperspace network that connected distant worlds. Then came the terror. A cosmic disaster that the builders called the Great Dimming. Stars began dying across the galaxy. Space itself was becoming unstable. The builders tried to escape, but there was nowhere to run. My people built the stasis chamber. As a last hope, HFY shared her memories. I was to sleep until the disaster passed and then help rebuild our civilization. But the Great Dimming killed everyone. Even the stars that survived were changed forever. Dongmin felt HFY's crushing loneliness. 2,000 years of waiting in the dark. 2,000 years of hope slowly turning to despair. But you survived, Dongmin said. You kept fighting. You waited. I waited for my people, HFY replied sadly. I never imagined that others would find me. Small, warm creatures with such bright minds. What are you called? We are humans, Dongmin said. We found your hyperspace lanes and used them to spread across the galaxy. In a way, we are your children. We inherited the galaxy you helped create. This news filled HFY with wonder. Her people's greatest work had not died with them. New beings had taken up the torch and were exploring the stars. Show me, HFY asked. Through the neural link, Dongmin shared human history. He showed her Earth and the first tentative steps into space. He showed her human cities on distant worlds and ships traveling the hyperspace lanes the builders had created. HFY was amazed by human diversity and creativity. You are so different from us, she said. We were builders and gardeners. We created things to last forever. But you are explorers and dreamers. You create things to grow and change. Will you let us help you? Dongmin asked. HFY hesitated. My body is failing. The crystalline decay cannot be stopped. Soon I will join my people in the great silence. What if we could give you a new body? Dongmin suggested. Human technology might not be as advanced as yours, but we are very good at adaptation and repair. You would do that for me? HFY asked with surprise. You barely know me. You have been alone for 2,000 years, Dongmin replied. No one should face the darkness alone. Humans never abandon those who need help. HFY's gratitude flooded through the neural link. She had given up hope of survival, but these small, brave creatures were offering her a chance at new life. Yes, she said finally. If it is possible, I want to live. I want to see what becomes of this galaxy we will share. The neural connection ended and Dongmin collapsed from exhaustion, but he was smiling when the medical team carried him away. She said yes, he whispered to Hyun-soo. HFY wants to live. Now they faced their greatest challenge. How do you give new life to a being whose technology is beyond human understanding? How do you transfer an alien consciousness to a body she can actually use? The answer would require every bit of human ingenuity and determination they could find. The emergency conference took place in the research station's main meeting room. Scientists and engineers from across human space had arrived to help with the rescue mission. Everyone knew they were attempting something that had never been done. Before Dr. Miran presented the problem to the assembled experts. HFY's body is failing at the quantum level. The crystalline formations are not just rust, they are quantum decay. Her consciousness matrix is literally dissolving. Chief Medical Officer Woo Jin shook his head grimly. Our medical technology cannot repair damage at that scale. We work with biological systems. This is quantum engineering beyond anything we understand. How long does she have? Asked Admiral Seon Ho, who had come from Earth to oversee the operation. Tai Ho checked his latest readings. The decay rate is accelerating, maybe 10 days before her consciousness becomes too fragmented to survive transfer. The room fell silent. 10 days to solve a problem that the builders themselves could not fix. 10 days to save a being whose technology was thousands of years beyond human capability. But Jin-A had an idea that changed everything. She was the youngest scientist on the team, but also the most creative. What if we do not try to repair her body? She suggested. What do you mean? Asked Dr. Miran. Instead of fixing her original form, we give her a completely new one. Jin-A explained. We build a new body using human biomechanical technology, something smaller but functional. Woo Jin frowned. Transfer an alien consciousness to a human-built body? The neural architectures are completely different. But Dongmin proved they are compatible, Jin-A argued. The basic patterns match. We just need to create a body that can house her consciousness safely. Engineer Parko raised practical concerns. Even if we could build such a body, how would we power it? Her current form uses quantum energy sources we cannot replicate. We adapt, said Jin-A simply. Humans are the best adapters in the galaxy. We take her consciousness and put it in a body that works with our technology. Admiral Seon Ho looked around the room. Is this actually possible? No one could answer with certainty. They were talking about something that existed only in theory. Dr. Miran studied her notes on builder technology. The consciousness transfer would have to happen inside her current body. We would need to use her own quantum cores as bridges during the process. That means working inside a system that is actively failing, So Young pointed out, like performing surgery on a patient whose heart is stopping. The risks are enormous. Woo Jin warned. If we make a mistake, we could destroy her consciousness completely. She would not just die, she would cease to exist. Hyun-soo listened to all the technical discussions, but his mind was made up. We have to try. HFY has been waiting for 2,000 years. We cannot let her die just because the task is difficult. The failure rate could be over 90%, Woo Jin insisted. Then we work harder to be in the 10% that succeeds. Hyun-soo replied firmly. Jinny began designing the new body with help from the biomedical team. It would be humanoid in shape, but adapted for HFY's consciousness patterns. 2 meters tall with advanced sensory systems and quantum neural interfaces. The body would use human technology, but incorporate some builder elements from HFY's current form. The goal was to create something familiar enough for her consciousness, to accept but advanced enough to house her vast intellect. We are essentially building a new species, Jinny realized as she worked on the designs. A hybrid of human and builder technology. Meanwhile, Dongmin prepared for a second neural link with HFY. They needed her cooperation and understanding for the transfer to work. You must explain the risks to her, Dr. Miran insisted. She has the right to know this might not succeed. The second neural connection was easier than the first. HFY's consciousness welcomed Dongmin like an old friend. Little engineer, she said warmly. You have returned with more of your bright thoughts. Dongmin explained the transfer plan honestly. He showed her the designs for the new body and explained the dangers involved. You could die completely, he warned her. Not just physical death, but the erasure of everything you are. HFY considered this calmly. I am dying already. At least this way I die trying to live. Are you sure? Dongmin asked. We could try to find another solution. In 10 days? HFY asked gently. No, little one. This is my only hope. And even if it fails, at least I will know that someone cared enough to try. Her acceptance strengthened everyone's resolve. If HFY was brave enough to risk everything, then the humans would match her courage. The next week was frantic preparation. Jin'e's team built the new body using the most advanced technology humanity possessed. Every component was tested and retested. So Young prepared the surgical bay inside H's chest cavity. They would perform the transfer surrounded by her own quantum systems. Taeho created backup systems to preserve HFY's consciousness if the primary transfer failed. It was a desperate precaution, but better than nothing. Dr. Miran worked on the consciousness mapping protocols. They needed to transfer not just HFY's memories, but her entire sense of self. As the days passed, HFY's condition worsened. The crystalline decay spread faster, and her electromagnetic signals became more erratic. We are running out of time, Wu Jin reported on the 9th day. Her consciousness is fragmenting. If we wait much longer, there will not be enough left to transfer. Everyone knew the moment had come. Ready or not, they had to attempt the impossible. Tomorrow morning we try to save her, Hyun-soo announced. Everyone get some rest. Tomorrow we make history, or we fail trying. That night, Dongmin made one final neural connection with HFY. Are you afraid? He asked her. Terrified, she admitted, but also hopeful. For the first time in 2,000 years, I am hopeful. We will not let you down, Dongmin promised. You already saved me, HFY replied. You gave me back hope. Whatever happens tomorrow, you gave me that gift. The next morning would determine whether human determination could overcome impossible odds, whether love and hope could triumph over entropy and death. The surgical bay inside HFY's chest cavity looked like something from a dream. Her quantum cores glowed with fading blue light, while human medical equipment surrounded the new body Jin'e had built. The new form lay on the operating table like a sleeping person, 2 meters tall with elegant features that somehow combined human and builder aesthetics. Silver neural pathways traced patterns across the artificial skin. All systems ready, Jin'e reported. She had not slept in 36 hours, but her hands were steady. Dr. Miran checked the consciousness mapping equipment one final time. Transfer protocols are active. We have maybe 4 hours before her quantum cores fail completely. Taeho monitored HFY's electromagnetic patterns. Her consciousness is fragmenting faster now. She is losing memories of her people. Dongmin prepared for the most dangerous neural link yet. He would have to maintain connection throughout the entire transfer process. If he lost the link, HFY's consciousness would scatter beyond recovery. Remember, Wu Jin said to the team, if anything goes wrong, we stop immediately. We cannot risk destroying what remains of her. Hyun-soo looked around at his crew and the assembled experts. Let us bring her home. The process began with Dongmin establishing neural contact. This time, HFY's consciousness felt different, fragile and flickering like a candle in the wind. I am losing myself, she said with fear in her mental voice. I cannot remember my people's faces anymore. The memories are dissolving. Hold on to me, Dongmin told her. I will be your anchor. Jin'e began the delicate work of connecting HFY's quantum cores to the new body's neural matrix. Every connection had to be perfect. One mistake could disrupt the consciousness transfer. First, core connected, she announced. Neural pathways establishing. So Young monitored the quantum energy flows. Power level steady. The new body is accepting the connections. But then something went wrong. HFY's consciousness began fragmenting. During the transfer, pieces of her memory and personality started scattering through the quantum field. She is breaking apart, Dongmin reported with panic in his voice. I cannot hold all the pieces together. Dr. Miran watched her screens in horror. We are losing her. The transfer is failing. H's voice in the neural link became weak and distant. I can feel myself fading. The pieces of who I am are floating away. No, Dongmin said fiercely. I will not let you go. He did something that violated every safety protocol. Instead of just maintaining the link, he opened his own mind completely. He let H's fragmenting consciousness flow into his human brain. The pain was incredible. Dongmin's mind was not designed to hold an alien consciousness. But he held on anyway, anchoring H's sense of self with his own determination. What are you doing? Wu Jin shouted. You will burn out your own neural pathways. Saving her. Dongmin gasped through gritted teeth. Jinny worked frantically to complete the connections to the new body. Almost there. Just hold on a little longer. But it was not technology that saved H.A. It was something much more human. The entire team began sharing their own emotional energy through the neural field. So Young sent her determination. Taeho shared his hope. Dr. Miran offered her curiosity about alien life. Hyun-soo gave his protective instincts. Even Admiral Seon-ho and the other officials added their support. Dozens of humans focusing their will on keeping one alien consciousness together. I feel you all, H.A. whispered in amazement. So many bright minds holding me up, such warmth and caring. The human emotions gave her the strength to pull her fragmenting consciousness back together, not through builder technology but through the power of beings who refuse to let her face darkness alone. Transfer completing, Jinny announced with tears in her eyes. All cores connected to the new body. Slowly, carefully, they moved Aicha's consciousness from her failing giant form into the new body. The process took 3 hours of delicate work. Finally, the last connection was made. Aicha's electromagnetic signature stabilized in the new neural matrix. Her original quantum cores went dark as the last of their energy transferred to her new form. Is she alive? Hyun-soo asked quietly. For long moments, nothing happened. The new body lay still on the operating table. No signs of consciousness or movement. Then the silver eyes opened. Aicha looked around with wonder at her new perspective. Everything was smaller now, but also somehow more real. She could feel the operating table beneath her back and smell the recycled air of the station. I am alive, she said in perfect human language. Her voice was musical but unmistakably real. I am truly alive. She sat up slowly, getting used to her new body's proportions. The movements were graceful and controlled. Jinny had done excellent work. How do you feel? Dr. Miran asked. Different, Aicha replied honestly. Smaller, but also more connected to the physical world. This body feels warm and responsive. She looked at Dongmin, who was recovering from the neural link. You risked your mind to save mine. Why? Because no one should die alone, Dongmin said simply. And because the galaxy is better with you in it. Aicha stood up and walked to a mirror Jinny had installed. She studied her new reflection with curiosity. The crystalline patterns that had once been consuming her giant form were now beautiful silver tracery across her new skin. What had been a sign of death was now decorative art. The decay patterns became part of me, she realized. Scars transformed into beauty. We thought you would want to keep them, Jinny explained. They are part of your story now. Aicha nodded approvingly. In builder culture, scars represent survival and growth. These patterns show that I have overcome death itself. She turned to face the entire team. I do not know how to thank you. You gave me not just life, but hope for the future. You do not need to thank us, Hyun-soo said. This is what humans do. We help those who need help. Aicha smiled for the first time in 2,000 years. Then I have chosen the right species to live among. The impossible had been accomplished. An ancient being had been given new life through human determination and compassion. But this was just the beginning of an even greater story. Aicha was alive and ready to explore a universe that no longer held only loneliness, but friendship across the vast darkness between worlds. 6 months after her rebirth, HFY stood on the observation deck of the Human Federation flagship Unity. Stars streamed past in brilliant lines as the ship traveled through hyperspace. The same hyperspace lanes her people had created millennia ago. "It never gets old," Captain Hyun-soo said as he joined her at the viewing port. "Watching the stars go by?" HFY nodded thoughtfully. Her new body had adapted perfectly to human environments. She gestured toward the assembled crew. "These are humanity's best examples. You found a dying alien and chose to save her. You risked your lives for someone you barely knew. You gave me not just survival, but belonging." Dr. Miran smiled warmly. "You taught us that we are not alone in the universe. That is a gift beyond measure." "The galaxy feels less empty now," Jin-A added, "knowing that consciousness and kindness can survive even cosmic disasters." HFY looked out at the stars with new understanding. Her people had built the roads between worlds, but they had traveled them alone. Humans built communities wherever they went. They turned empty space into neighborhoods. "I have a confession," HFY said quietly. "When I first woke up in that chamber, I was ready to die. 2,000 years of loneliness had broken my spirit. But you gave me something my people never had." "What is that?" Tae-ho asked. "Hope for the future instead of just memories of the past," HFY replied. "The builders looked backward to golden ages. Humans look forward to possibilities." So Young had been unusually quiet during the conversation. Finally, she spoke up. "What will happen to the other builder caches scattered across the galaxy? Are there more dangerous technologies waiting to be found?" HFY nodded seriously. "Many caches remain hidden. Some contain wonders that could benefit everyone. Others hold dangers that should stay buried forever." "Then we have work to do," Hyun-soo said decisively. "Finding the beneficial caches and securing the dangerous ones." "A galaxy-wide treasure hunt," Dongmin said with a grin. "Sounds like the kind of impossible task humans love." Admiral Seon-ho had been listening to the conversation with growing interest. "The Federation would support such a mission. We could create a joint human builder expedition." "I would be honored to lead such an expedition," HFY said. "But I would want this crew with me. They are the ones who taught me that miracles are possible when people work together." The crew agreed immediately. They had started as a simple mining operation and become the team that made first contact with alien intelligence. Now they would become explorers, searching for ancient secrets across the galaxy. 6 months later, the expedition ship New Dawn launched from Earth's orbital shipyard. It was the most advanced vessel humanity had ever built, combining human engineering with builder knowledge. HFY stood on the bridge next to Captain Hyun-soo as they prepared for their first hyperspace jump. Her silver tracery patterns glowed with excitement and anticipation. "Ready for departure," So-young reported from the engineering station. "All systems green," Tae-ho confirmed from communications. "Scientific equipment fully operational," Dr. Miran added. "Medical bay prepared for any contingencies," Woo-jin announced. "New body modifications working perfectly," Jin-A said with pride. Hyun-soo looked at his crew and his alien friend who had become family. "Take us out, HFY. Show us wonders we have never imagined." HFY activated the hyperspace drive with builder command codes. The New Dawn leaped into the space between spaces carrying human dreams and alien wisdom, toward discoveries that would reshape the galaxy. For 2,000 years she had been locked in rust and dying alone. Now she was free and surrounded by friends, exploring an infinite universe together. The darkness between stars no longer held loneliness but endless possibilities. The age of human expansion had begun, but more importantly, the age of galactic friendship had begun too. Consciousness and kindness would spread from world to world, carried by beings who refused to let anyone face the dark alone. HFY smiled as stars streamed past the viewports. Her people had built the roads, but humans had shown her how to walk them with joy. The galaxy was vast and full of mysteries, but it was also full of friends waiting to be found. The greatest adventure was just beginning, moved with natural grace, and her silver tracery patterns seemed to glow softly in the ship's lighting. "When my people built these lanes, we never imagined others would use them so beautifully," she said. "The builders created infrastructure. Humans create art with it." The past 6 months had been a time of incredible change for both Aicha and humanity. She had chosen to stay with the humans rather than trying to find other survivors of her species. The galaxy felt less empty when shared with friends. Her ancient knowledge had revolutionized human technology overnight. She taught them how to build more efficient hyperspace drives and how to create quantum computers that thought instead of just calculating. Human ships could now travel twice as fast and carry passengers in perfect safety. But the technological advances were not the most important changes. Aicha's presence had transformed humanity's view of their place in the universe. The Council of Worlds voted unanimously, Admiral Seonho announced as he entered the observation deck. "Aicha, you are officially the first non-human citizen of the Federation. Your citizenship papers are ready whenever you want to sign them." Aicha smiled at the news. "I would be honored to become human in the legal sense. I already feel human in my heart." The ceremony took place in the Unity's main assembly hall. Hundreds of crew members gathered to witness history being made. Aicha signed her name in both human writing and builder script. "I, Aicha, last of the builders, do solemnly promise to defend the Federation and its people," she recited the oath of citizenship. "I pledge to use my knowledge for the benefit of all sentient beings." The crowd erupted in cheers. Aicha was officially part of humanity now. Later that evening, the senior crew gathered in Hyun-Soo's quarters for a private celebration. Dr. Miran had prepared a special meal using foods that Aicha's new body could digest and enjoy. "What will you do now?" Jinae asked. "You could have any position you want. The universities are fighting over you." Aicha considered the question carefully. "I want to explore. For 2,000 years I was trapped in one place. Now I have the freedom to see what has become of the galaxy my people helped create." "Exploration. Sounds perfect," Hyun-Soo agreed. "The Federation is planning a deep space mission to chart new hyperspace routes. We could use a builder's knowledge. And we could use Aicha's wisdom about dealing with unknown situations," added So Young. Taeho had been monitoring communications throughout the celebration. "Speaking of unknown situations, we have a problem developing in the outer colonies. 3 human settlements have gone silent in the past week." "Pirates?" Hyun-Soo asked. "Unknown," Taeho replied. "But the pattern suggests something more organized than random attacks." Aicha's expression grew serious. "May I see the data?" Taeho transferred the information to the main display. Aicha studied the star charts and communication logs with growing concern. "This is not pirates," she said definitively. "The pattern of attacks follows old builder survey routes. Someone is using ancient navigation data." "Other survivors of your people?" Dr. Miran asked hopefully. Aicha shook her head. "Sadly, the builders are gone, but our technology scattered across the galaxy when our civilization fell. Sometimes others find pieces of it." "Are you saying aliens are using builder technology to attack human colonies?" Wu Jin asked. "Possibly," Aicha replied. "Or it could be humans who found a builder cache and do not understand what they are using." Admiral Seonho made a quick decision. "We change course for the outer colonies. If someone is misusing builder technology, then we need our builder expert to investigate." The Unity altered course immediately. As they traveled toward the troubled region, Aicha shared more stories of her people's final days. "Near the end we were desperate," she admitted to Hyun-Soo during a private conversation. "We scattered emergency caches throughout the galaxy, technology that could restart our civilization if any of us survived." "What kind of technology?" Hyun-Soo asked. "Weapons mostly," Aicha said with regret. "Terrible weapons designed to fight the cosmic forces that were destroying us. If someone found one of those caches without understanding the safeguards..." She did not need to finish the thought. Advanced alien weapons in the wrong hands could threaten entire star systems. When they arrived at the outer colonies, they found, worse than anyone had imagined, entire planets had been stripped of their atmospheres. Millions of people were dead or missing. The damage patterns match builder atmospheric processors, HFY said grimly as they studied the devastation. But they have been modified, weaponized. Who could do this? So Young asked in horror. HFY was analyzing the energy signatures left behind by the attacks. The modifications are crude but effective. Whoever did this understands builder technology but not builder safeguards. Can we stop them? Hyun-soo asked. Yes, HFY said with quiet determination. I helped create those safeguards. I can disable the weapons remotely. The final confrontation came when they tracked the attackers to an abandoned builder outpost. The enemy turned out to be a small group of human extremists who believed aliens were a threat to humanity's future. The irony was devastating. Humans using alien technology to kill other humans while an alien worked desperately to save human lives. HFY disabled the weaponized atmospheric processors with codes that had not been used for 2 millennia. The extremists surrendered when their stolen technology stopped working. Why? HFY asked one of the captured terrorists. Why kill innocent people? Because aliens will replace us eventually, the man replied with fanatic certainty. We had to act first. HFY studied him with sadness rather than anger. You used the tools my people created to protect life in order to destroy it. We would be ashamed to see our legacy perverted this way. Later, as they returned to Federation space, HFY stood again at the observation deck watching stars stream past. But this time she was not alone. Hyun-soo and most of the senior crew joined her. Do you regret choosing to live among us? Hyun-soo asked. After seeing what some humans are capable of? HFY considered the question seriously before answering. Every species has darkness within it. The builders had extremists too, but I judge a people by their best examples, not their worst. Shido.